All right. Good evening, everyone. Super excited for today. It is the 24th of June, 2023, and we are here at the final stage of our training on practical multisensory approach to teaching dyslexic learners. It's been a busy past weeks with our teachers who started this journey with us, and we're hoping that they've been able to take one or two from it that they will start using to support their students. I'm very excited for them, and I just know the journey ahead for them. This is just a starting point in the sense that you just getting to know. And it is always good to start that journey. But I would encourage all of you, our dearest teachers, to keep learning. This is just a phase, like a zero phase. So keep learning, be available for every opportunity that comes your way when it comes to you learning how to teach children with dyslexia. Not just children with dyslexia, but all types of students in your school. The good thing is the approach of teaching dyslexic learners can be applied to all learners. And so embrace your seat and then get your questions ready, because this is the final stage, and ask all the questions you'd have for Dr. Sierra Bernard. And I'm trying to convince her so that we do like a debrief section with you all and do our graduation ceremony. Once she agrees, we would be meeting here one more time, but not for training, but just to ask any burning questions on your heart. And then we also celebrating your effort. So thank you very much. And I will hand it over to Dr. Bernard. Before we started the on streaming, we were asking some of our teachers to share their experience so far with regards to training. And Irene was just sharing something remarkable with us. And I think before Dr. Bernard came in, we will let Irene share it again. And if Jedediah also have something to say, they can share it before Dr. Bernard take over and take us through this final stage of the training. I also have to highlight that there are a lot of things Dr. Bernard really wanted to teach this class did not happen because she really has to go backwards to really take it from the basics. And I'm very glad that she anticipated that, because if there are some trainers, they will go with the exact plan they have, but then at the end of the day, you will not achieve anything at all. But stepping back a little bit and really saying that, okay, let's get these basics right, teachers, before we move on, is one thing that I'm very excited that she did in this training. So please don't shy away, get all your questions today and really ask her questions. And she's always available for us, even after the training. If you have any question, you could always reach out to her. So Irene, you can go ahead and share us what your experience has been so far with this training. How has it been for you in your school?
Thank you, Roselyn, and thank you, Dr. B. Before I go ahead, it's been very wonderful. Like I was saying before, the children I was considering they're just being lazy. They just don't want to read. They are refusing to pack their books. They don't want to pay attention. They are being disobedient. And sometimes you call these children and you reprimand them. Now, all of a sudden, I'm seeing them differently. I'm seeing that the child is really trying. This is a child who is trying. So I'm asking myself question, why did I not see this at first in the same child that I'm seeing? Because it's the same child I'm seeing just trying to be lazy, trying to be disobedient. Now I see the child in the library reading. Is it because of the assistance? So they've really gotten out of this training. I think it's very good. The children are right in front of us. They need help. They are trying, but we don't even know they are trying because we're seeing something different. And I think it's a very good thing that I've gotten from this program. So thank you very much. It's been a good experience for me.
Welcome.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Wow. I think Dr. B wants to hear someone else from someone else before she will comment. So Jedidiah, how have you been? I know you, especially you have made one or two of the trainings. I don't know if you have catched up, but how has it been for you? Have you been able to get anything at all from the training? I mean, you don't need to say anything that you haven't experienced, but how has your journey been?
Thank you very much. So it has been an enlightening journey, mostly with my life. If I should look back to my basic school days and the kind of training I received in school, I encountered a few challenges. And from the trainings Dr. Bernard gave us, I was able to understand, oh, okay, so at the point in time, I think I was dyslexic because I could confuse B with D. And so if I was even writing my name, I just write Jebibia. I had to be prompted that it was a B before I had to change it. But over time, I didn't have it easy. But over time, I was able to adjust and then come back to the typical way. But this training has also enlightened me on how to help others who will be facing such challenges. And I think it's going to help me in my practice. The future is bright.
Fantastic. Wow, wow. Like when you were talking about your experience in your childhood, I kind of started getting emotional, and look at you here today, rather trying to learn your way to be able to support someone. So I think this should remind you all the time, be at the back of your mind that you know kind of on like you know how it feels sometimes that when you don't know something, because there's that kind of experience from your basic education level, so that wherever child you're meeting, you know that it's not like just this child is lazy or something, but it is something that you need to support them. It's not because they are dyslexic. I mean, when you're growing up, there's so many things that are happening. It may be that you are not even dyslexic, but then there are series of challenges growing up. So once you have it at the back of your mind, you'll be able to assist all kinds of students. I know I see Ifoma here. Ifoma, how are you doing? My sister in Nigeria. How has your experience been? It's been tough, especially you, because you have a school and the timing as well. But how has your experience been so far?
Your speaker.
You're muted. Oh.
Okay, now she went back again.
Ifoma, you're muted. Let me see.
Okay, she's unmuted now.
Oh, Ifoma, we can hear you.
Haven't heard a word.
Let me see if her audio is connected. Actually, let me check it for her. Yeah, her audio.
Yeah, it's not. Something is unplugged.
Yeah, Ifoma, your audio is not working, so I don't know. You could stop it and reconnect it, or maybe go in and come out again.
Yeah, there's something else going on there. It's not just her speaker. There's something right next to it there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm sure she has heard us, so she would probably exit and come back again. Okay. Good day too. How are you doing?
Who died too? Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
You're eating. Are you eating?
Oh, I'm not eating.
Okay. So students, we just using the little minutes we have before Dr. B will start to just to share experience, what you have probably what you have learned, and also what you wish this training had given or something like that kind of little information section over here. If you've learned something that makes you aha, you could share it. If you learn something that would be like, oh, this really I don't understand,
Oh.
you could also share that. So you can go ahead.
I think there's been so much of the aha moments because you think you know, but the more Dr. B goes into the lessons, you realize that you really just know something very small. And I actually want to thank her for the resources that she shared with us, such that it would help us as beginners be able to do something good for the students we want to support. And I'm only sad that time won't allow her to teach us more, like more. But I mean, this training has been an eye-opener for me, particularly interested in helping children with reading difficulties. And yes, let me use this opportunity to say thank you so much to Lady Rosa for this opportunity and giving me this platform. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. I'm glad you at least benefited one way or the other. I just saw a comment by Fiona. She's not here. She's asking what would we call ourselves after this tonight. You're not going to call yourself anything.
Fiona.
Yeah. Yeah. Fiona wants to know what title she can put on her.
Fiona wants to be called an Austin Gillingham trainer.
Yes. Trainer.
You're looking for a title already.
Yeah. She's looking for exactly. She's looking for a title already, but no, there isn't going to be any title so far because this is look, guys, we just did 20. How many hours? 20 hours.
20 hours. That's nothing.
Yes. 20 hours is nothing. You know, if there is time, we need to do this like 8 hours every day for like 2 weeks.
Wow.
And you probably will get yourself out of the classroom and feel like, yes, you have benefited something. But 8 hours, and also you have seen that it was quite very basic stuff. And so if you go and put a title on yourself, you will worry yourself because people will have very high expectation of you, but you wouldn't have the skills to be able to execute. Yes. Barbara, can you hear us? I don't know.
Yes, please.
How has the journey been for you? You have missed a lot of classes, Barbara.
Yes, please. So what I do is when I am able to get a stable internet, I play the videos. I go on YouTube to watch the ones I missed.
Okay, but are you no more in Accra?
I'm temporarily at the village. I'll be back in Accra soon.
Oh, okay. So is there anything you learned that you think you've learned something?
I'm very grateful for everything. I've had a lot of trials on the maths for the Dutch list, everything. It's been something new that I've been trying to take my time to absorb and then get it through. And I'm really grateful for the new knowledge that Dr. Bernard has shared with us. And I'm also grateful to you for the opportunity. It's been a learning curve for me, though my circumstance right now isn't really conducive, but I'm grateful for the new knowledge impacted. Thank you.
We thank God. And I mean, the videos will be available to all of us. It will be available forever. Okay. I'll actually make it open. I will, after the training, I'm going to make all the links open since the training is over. So then when you go to our YouTube, it's easily accessible, because what I've done is now, if you don't have the link, then you can't really access them. So you have all the links, and then you can always go through again. You've spent money on it, so I would encourage all of you to go back and take the training. I'm sorry, I think Gifty is having a challenge. She just said as thieves have stolen something from her or broke. Oh, okay. So thieves went to her home and broke it into her bedroom and took her laptop and everything.
Wow.
Today. So
Wow.
had to dread us. Yeah. Please, Dr. B, you can go ahead. I'll
Okay.
recap. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I hope everything works out for her. Let me say thanks to Lady Rosa. She's the hero here. She's the one who organized everything. She's the one who has the passion for this program. And I think you're really blessed to have somebody like this who is willing to do the push, even when, there are times when it seems like people are saying, no, I don't want to move. She still wants to push. And there always has to be somebody like that, a visionaire. Last year, we were in Ghana. We had a really great time. We had really phenomenal attendance in Ghana and Uganda, as well as in Kenya. As I was explaining to her this morning, they actually asked me if I could return again this September with them to Ghana. At first, when I saw it, I was a little bit excited, just a little teeny tiny, because I would have been so thrilled to meet with you guys, to actually be in the same room with all of you and just, just to connect, because it's not the same as connecting on Zoom. And as I told her, I said, I'm praying about it. I don't know that it's going to happen because I have another big international trip later in the year. So, but it would have been nice, because I began to dream immediately. I began to think, oh, wow, then I could take cards for everybody, and I could take this, and I could take 2 suitcases filled with stuff, and those who don't have the cards, we can make them, and I was just going crazy, and I'm like, oh, slow down, girls, just slow down. Nobody told you were going anywhere. So, but all I know, if it were possible, it would make all the difference in the whole world, because then I'd be sitting in the room with you guys. We'd be working through all this stuff. It would be really great, but maybe one of these days it will work out. However, the important thing for me right now is to know that we have not wasted our time. We spent our precious weekend hours. And for me, as a pastor, weekend is, no, for me, I don't like to attend events. I don't do a lot of things on Friday and Saturday. Forget Sunday. Sunday not happening. So I'm saying, not only did I invest time, you did too. You have things that you could do definitely on a Friday afternoon, and certainly on a Saturday. So I want to commend you for making that effort to do something like that. It tells me that your heart is in the right place. We can't stop. Because you know that when you learn something and you don't follow up with it, and you don't follow through with what you learn, afterwards, what was it again? What was it you said? And then you don't remember. It is a waste of time if we just stop where we are and never follow through on it. If children are not benefiting from what you did for these past weeks, We just wasted a whole lot of time. Multiply it. Let's multiply the time by all of us, and you see how many hours we wasted, how many combined hours we wasted. So we don't want to waste any of our time. We want this to be something that we can consolidate and impart to the people who really need our help. One of the things Jedediah said, and this is very, very, very true. Whenever you work on a phonics program, it is going to take you back to your childhood. Why? Because for all of us, there are gaps somewhere. There are things that you missed in maybe second grade, and nobody taught it again because the third grade teacher didn't teach it over, because the third, as far as she's concerned or he's concerned, the second grade teacher already taught you. And it's even worse when it goes back to first grade. And then the second grade teacher says, he knows it already. She knows it already. The third, and so people are compounding information on you, but you have gaps in your learning. And that is one of the things I've seen over the years. Children who you just couldn't figure out what was going on with them. Why is it? And then it's the testings that we did, those testings, they show up a lot. If you do these the right way, you're going to see, oh, okay, that particular concept that they should know, they never learned it. And they should have known that since second grade, they never learned it. And so they're going to third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and they're still spelling believe, B-E-L-E-V-E. Why? Because they missed that lesson somehow, that it's I before E. And so they're just doing this year after year. Gaps in learning. It's one of the things you look for when you're evaluating. I put so much emphasis on the evaluations because that's where you're going to find the gaps in the learning. If you're building a wall and you're putting up bricks here and there, and then you left out one here and you left out one there, and then you're still piling up more bricks, and then what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You're going to wonder, this is not a strong wall. You could just feel it shaking. Not a strong wall because it was not line upon line, precept upon precept. That didn't happen. And so there's a weakness. And some of those children will say for years, I hate to read. I hate reading. It's not that they hate reading. They are weak. There are gaps in their learning that cause them to kind of tutter. And so they just write it off. I don't like reading. I never like reading. I never like to read books. You know what? I can listen to a tape. I can watch a movie, but I don't like reading. It's not that they don't like reading. It's because they have some gaps that is preventing them from being as fluent as they should be. So this course and any phonics-based course is going to take you back, because you as a teacher, you're going to find out that, whoa, I didn't know that. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's that somehow I missed that, you know, and once you realize what you missed, you just fix it. You just fix it. That's the same thing you do with the kids. You see what's wrong and you say, oh, let me just fix that. I need to stop that hole. I need to put a brick in here because this child missed this. You see yourself differently when you do a course like this. And you see, as Irene said, you see your students differently. I was a certified reading specialist, licensed, state of New York. But it's only when I did the Orton Gillingham course, I said, whoa. I mean, the kids that I taught for all these years, some of them should be getting a refund. Because I thought I was good. I really thought I was good. Parents loved me. They would, bring stuff for me. They just loved their children. But I could have been so much better. I could have given them more, but I myself didn't know it. You cannot impart what you don't have. So you may have to go back, reach back into your distant past and pull out things and make sure that you yourself are not tottering anymore, that you are strong, that you are firm, that you understand phonics. That because you see, now that you've grown up and you went to school, you went to college or whatever, now you say, oh, I can do this. I read science books. I read up. But you know, the truth is, you may be reading a book, an engineering book, and of course, you're a genius. You know, you're reading an engineering book. But do you know when it's time for you to write, you are still making second grade mistakes? I know adults, brilliant people. And when I look at their writing, sometimes they write something to me like, whoa, it's, you know, most of it is good, but there's some things that you see, you know, I don't expect to see WIFES for wives, but nobody told them that. Nobody told them that. So they're doing it. Women, a lot of adults do not know the difference between how to spell woman and women. A lot of adults. If you ask them, they say, well, I don't know, women has an E. No. One has an O and one has an A at the beginning and at the end. But if you don't study the forms of spelling, plural, how to form plurals. Do you know how many adults don't know how to form plurals? A lot. When you look at their writing, now they're getting away with it now. Why? Because when they go online and they text you, or when they type something online, spell check says, nope. And then they click on it and spell check does it for them. And so nobody knows that half of those words, they didn't know how to spell them on their own. So spell check is like, saves the day, spell check. But if you look at, and I usually know when I'm dealing with the parents, because don't type me anything, don't text me anything, write me a note. Write me a note. I like to get notes from the parents. I want to see what they write, because that is going to tell me something about them and about their child. Think about it. If they missed a couple of things in second grade, and now their child is in second grade, and their child is doing it, do you think they know the right thing to teach the child? They're just saying, okay, do the best you can. Just do how many you can do, and that's okay. And then they take it back to school because there are things that you missed, and so you didn't pass it on to their children. If you didn't miss it, when your child got to it, you'd say, oh, no, that's not how you do that. You have to double the consonant before adding ing. You must have seen adults write words ending with ing without doubling the consonant when it's needed. I've seen it over and over. A lot of adults don't know when it should be two consonants together or when it should be one. You know, what's the difference between tiger and tigger? Why do we have two Z's in puzzle? Well, why don't we just put one Z in puzzle? Do you hear Z twice? What are we, in other words, we learn a lot of things because the teacher said, do it that way. Just do it. And so for the most part, a lot of things we just know. But if somebody were to ask us, well, why do you do that? If your child were to ask you, but why? Why can't I spell puzzle Puzzle? What would you tell the child? Well, that's how it is. That's what, you know how many people say that? Even teachers say that. Even teachers. I have students that I work with one-on-one. And I look at the work that the teacher, sometimes they would bring me something that the teacher actually wrote. And I'm like, in my mind, I don't say anything to the child. But in my mind, I can't believe this teacher wrote this sentence. And the first letter in the sentence is a lowercase letter. These are things that I see, and I see teachers do it. And I see teachers writing uppercase letters in between a word. Have you? No, it's just me just looking at teachers. But when you get into a program and submerge yourself in it, the reason I say so is that go back before you try to teach children. Go back. Look, these are the days of Google. These are the days of YouTube. There's nothing that you don't have to have the whole pile of information in your brain. Go to your computer. Find out things that you need to know. Go over word lists. Look, I mean, as I said, if I was going to be coming to Africa, you would have paper coming through your ears. But there's so much that you as a teacher need to learn to teach the children. Why? Because many of us, from my generation and your generation, the teachers just threw it at us, but they didn't tell us why. And we were so smart. We just grabbed it and we just ran with it, but we don't know why. So now we can't explain it to the child. And for the dyslexic learner, it's more difficult because you do not tell the dyslexic learner, well, that's how it is. You are totally frustrating them now. You're totally frustrating them. You need to explain to the child, well, sometimes at the end of a one syllable word, you have K. Sometimes you have CK, but why? Why? Why do you sometimes have K and why do you sometimes have CK? Why sometimes you have GE, but sometimes you have DGE? Why sometimes you have CH, like which, and WITCH? Why do you have a T in there? Why don't you just put WICH for which? The regular classroom child, you can just throw all that at them and they'll just take you at your word. But for the dyslexic learner who needs details and who needs to understand the why of what they're learning, you as the teacher need to know. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed to go back. I learned a lot. Once I started working on phonics-based teaching, there are things that I thought, oh, so that's why. Oh, I didn't know that's why this was done. Learn. So teachers, be open to learn. The minute you stop learning, you stop developing. You want to continue to become. That's what you want. You want to become. It's not how much you're working for. It's not, well, I don't care, because they're not teaching, they're not paying me enough. They never pay teachers enough anyway. No, it's what you're becoming in the process. Not how much you're earning. It's what you're becoming. And so you want to become the best phonics-based teacher that you can be. Now, this is my suggestion. This is my suggestion to the world. Maybe. Who am I to give a suggestion to the world? But I'll give it anyway. There should never be a school. Let me go for school. There should never be a school where there isn't one reading specialist and somebody who knows how to deal with the dyslexic learner. If you have a school and there isn't one teacher who is able to work with or teach the dyslexic learner, 1/5 of your school is pretty much going down the drain. But that's what we have all done all through the years. We have allowed that percentage of our children to just drift. And we just say, oh, well, they didn't know, they weren't bright. Oh, those were the smart ones and those were the dumb ones. And then we think that the children don't understand when we put them in separate groups. And we think we're fooling them and we say, okay, this group over here, we're going to call those the tigers. So that group is called the tigers. And the group over here, we're going to call them the lions. It's only a matter of time. The tigers are going to realize, well, all the bright ones are over here. And the lions are going to realize, wait a minute, all the people over here are not smart. And they're going to figure out the lions are the dumb ones and the tigers are the bright ones. And you think you are fooling them. You are not. And so we do a lot of things to disguise how we really feel about the children that we are teaching. We need to identify them and protect them. Protect them. There are too many educators that are not protecting children. You put a child in front, and just forgive me today, I'm just speaking to you from my heart. There are teachers who would ask a child that they know that the child doesn't know how to read that chapter in the book. And they would say, Charles, can you stand and read from page, starting at page 9? What are they accomplishing? What are they hoping to accomplish? You know what they hope to accomplish? And it's cruel. Maybe if I have them stand in front of the class and they can't read it, they'll be embarrassed and they will stop their laziness. And they will make a better effort. They will do better. That is why a lot of times teachers do that. They want to shame them into learning. When the truth is, what the teacher is supposed to do is protect them. If I know a child cannot read, I will never ask that child. That child has to come to a stage after much, teaching, tutoring, whatever, and they say, can I read? Then you know you're really making progress. Can I read? Because the child has a level of confidence when they can say to the teacher, can I read the next chapter? Or can I read the next page? So the job of the teacher is to protect the students. Teachers, protect the students that are in your care. Don't allow them to be embarrassed. Don't allow them to be ashamed. Protect them. When you see another child saying something that would hurt their ego, you stop it right there and you speak to that child who's doing it and you pull that child aside and say, don't you ever do that again. Don't you ever say, I don't want you to ever say that she's stupid. I don't want you to ever say, because you have no idea what that word means. Everybody's stupid in some way. You let them have it good. And the child who was who something bad was said about, you say to that child, hey, look, you speak to them after, because you heard what was said. You heard what was said. You said, listen, don't bother with this person. That is not true. You're as smart as anybody else. You may learn a little differently, but you know what? We're going to work together and we're going to help you so that you can do better in the future. Now, I think I just spoke for 30 minutes straight. Okay, only preachers can do that. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions on what I've said so far, so I don't continue to ramble? It could be you just disagree with what I said. That's fine too.
Any question?
Hello, doctor.
Or anything? Does anyone have some?
Hello, doctor.
Or comment to share
From this perspective,
yeah, before she moves on, because she needs to go into her class, but she just used this time to really get us to feel that, like, to see the journey we are on, that you haven't wasted your time, and this is going to pay off one way or the other if you keep the learning going, because this is just the starting point. Do you if Oma, you can go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Bernard, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, this is what I was trying to say before was this has really been good because now, even as I own a school and you can be in all the classes at the same time. And then sometimes you have staff who you actually think know what they're doing. But when you're coming from a more educated point of view, then you seem to see so much and so much you've taken for granted. Like right now, I go into the classrooms, especially with the older kids, and I see
like exactly what you were saying. The children are learning how to spell, and someone is just said, just spell it like that. And then I go, no. You need to explain to them why it has to be spelled like this. Like this week, I walked into a class and I saw a chat with the double E's, and it had pair when you're praying through the glasses, and it had there, and then I saw feet. And I said, why are you doing this? And she says it's a double E. And I was like, no, one of them, the double E sounds E, and the other ones are air. You understand what I'm trying to come from? Short and the long. And the teacher was just like, and she just went, and I was like,
she can't teach what she doesn't know.
Yeah. So, and it just occurred to me that, this happens so much. So I told her, you need to take the feet. If you're going to leave there and pair and the other words, feet has to go. She's like, it's a double E. And I was like, oh, okay. So I took the long route to try to explain. Then we have another, then she has to go off to do something. And then we have the double slash OR for words like fort, armor, clamor, words like that. And the kids have a spelling list. And I'm going through the list and I'm like, oh my goodness. And all the words are O-U-R. So I have to go into the class and I tell the kids it's O-R, but the U is like, there are words like fort, for, the O-U-R, but it's pronounced O. And I was telling them, and I was telling them you have to make it longer. And the kids had a blast. And, I felt so elated because I told the teacher, take a seat back, and I took the class. And yes, Dr. Bennett, in the course of this week, I had to even let someone go. I had to let one of my teachers go because I could just see that, I'm seeing so much more. And it's not making sense.
Whoa. Don't start firing people, teachers.
I was going to say the same. I'm like,
no. When you're coming from an
knowledge
and you're in the dark, yes, everything is okay. But once you have a knowledge, you just want to accept mediocre. And then, like you were saying, teachers, you need to be open. Some of them are so stuck in their ways of thinking, they're trying to pass something else, and they're like, oh, what's she talking about? I've been doing this for X amount of time. It's always worked like this, and I'm going to continue doing it like that. And I'm like, no, because you're leaving a lot of kids behind. Because the kids who are always screaming, jumping, disrupting the whole class. I want to sharpen my pencil 10 times. And then realize it's not because they want to sharpen their pencil, because they're lost. And you're going to tell that child, hey, you stand up there and answer a question. And the child is going to flunk the question, and everybody else is going to laugh at the child. Wow. So just disrupt the class. So the child just, makes a whole mess of the whole class. So he doesn't get picked on to say, you answer a question, and he doesn't look silly. So I'm seeing everything from such a different perspective, so I'm happy the summer is coming up. So I just want to try and see how we work through with my teachers. So it's really been really, it's really fun. And I've ordered my cards. So I ordered my cards today from Amazon. So it's going to come. So I just need to go on with it. So it's really been good. And thank you so much.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm going to go out on a limb, but I'm going to give you the opportunity if you want, because you have a staff. Set up something with me if you would. Maybe to work on phonics with your teachers.
Okay.
And we can do like basic phonics and whatever. We can talk about that after. But what you don't want is teachers just doing the same things. That's insanity. That's insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yes.
It's going to be the same result all the time. And these teachers were saying, I've done it year after year after year after year. And they're saying, we're doing it right.
Yes.
Mind, they
your business.
They're like a closed vowel, like a like a closed syllable. There's a consonant at the end of them, which closes the door and keeps their mind short.
Out, yes.
So if I would ask you from the beginning of the training, what was your perception? How do you feel now as an educator, and not just an educator, but also an owner of a school?
Yeah, it's good, and I see that there's so much hope for the kids, because sometimes you're at a loss for what to do with particular kids, and but with this it's so much better. Like even going through and stepping to the classroom this week, going through the scripts, like Dr. Bernard would say, like what she said yesterday, telling them to when they're spelling, pronounce the words, look at it over again. There's so many tips that have come out from this course that I don't know, I can't quantify the help it's going to be to me and to so many other teachers. So I would recommend this. I do wish it was much longer, because I can say that this is very expansive. I think we're just barely touching. I think we're just barely scraping the surface, and I know
the surface.
Yeah, it's much deeper. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's a really.
But if we can at least start helping, if we can at least start,
definitely, even for me, there's so many things that I look at now, and I'm like, I'm happy the summer is here. So over the summer, there's so many things that we have to revise and put in place to, so that come September, we have so many things in place to help the children with.
Yes. Anything I can do to help, just please let me know, because I really want this to happen. I want classrooms to be changed. I want teachers to be thinking differently. As I said, I can't do it for everybody. I can't do it for the whole world. And there are a lot of people out there who are doing the same thing that I'm doing. Okay. I'm not like unique in any way, but I'm saying, if we can just touch, if your goal is listen, I am going to designate one of my teachers who is really interested and who I see has potential. And I want this teacher to go deep into this thing. This is the age of the internet. This is the age of doing stuff online. You can designate one person that's going to be the phonics-based professional in your school, and you'll see the difference, so that the teachers know, oh, speak to Miss So-and-so, and she'll be able to help that. But she must really focus. It must be somebody who really wants to focus on it.
Dr. Bernard, it's easy. I even went online, and this is Otto Gillingham sample lesson plan.
Yes. It's in the manual.
Yeah, I got this online myself while trying to do my lesson plan, and it actually takes you. It tells you what to do at every point in time. So
absolutely.
So all the way to the spelling drills, everything. It's
everything. Everything. And a lot of that, as you see, has changed since I did it. What I did, as far as I'm concerned, is tried and true. They changed it up to make a lot of this stuff easier also and clearer. Yeah. But these are things that you can do if you're serious. If you are serious about it, you've got to make a difference. You've got to make a difference. You're going to tell yourself, I did this, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to make a difference in my classroom. Every single teacher, whether you're an ELA teacher or not, every single teacher should be able to identify a dyslexic student. Every teacher. There should be no teacher in any classroom, considering how prevalent dyslexia is. There shouldn't be one school in the world, or there shouldn't be any teacher at all that doesn't at least know how to identify. I'm not saying they know how to deal with it, but they should at least be cognizant of what dyslexia is, what it looks like, and be able to identify and refer the child to somebody else. And that's where the specialist comes in. Every school should have one specialist. Okay? We are just a few of us here today, but we can speak out those words. Our goal is to see more dyslexic awareness in the classroom and more specialists in schools. Absolutely. Sounds like a plan.
Absolutely. And I agree. The starting point, it's if this knowledge that we have gained over the period of these weeks, if let's say we have 100 of us gaining this knowledge, then you see the little change everybody is going to start committing. Oh, yes. And I said, like Irene said here in early the time, she said, now I can see and I can understand. For me, just that is, I think that's the purpose. You can see and you can understand. And if you can see and you understand, definitely you'll be eager to do something.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate. So Dr. B, you can go on with your class.
Okay. Let's I'm just gonna run through now what we did for the sessions. What time is it? Wow, we're just about going into our second hour. Okay.
Dr. B, I have a question.
Yes.
I hope I'm not taking us back, but what kind of homework or assignment can I give to my student to help with the right pronunciation of the letter C? I have tried the letter C, K, and then she'll come back the next day, look at the same letter and say, S. I don't know what is happening. I really don't know what is going on.
No, because she's right. C has two sounds. One is the hard C, which is, and you tell the child, you hear where that one is coming from. That's the hard, it has the K sound. That C has a K sound.
Okay.
Now the second one, the second C sound is S, as in, it gives you the S sound, as in Sam. Now, what is the difference? How do you know when it's the K sound and when it's the S sound? Whenever it's followed by A, O, or U, those three, it's hard. Like cake, pan, cup, coffee. As long as the C is followed by A, O, or U, it has the hard sound like a K. But if it's followed by E, I, or Y, it has the S sound like cereal. So now it sounds like an S because it's followed by an E. Okay, look at the Y. Symbol, CYM, it sounds like an S. Same thing with the I, CI, what's the word with CI? Citrus. So that is the difference. And it's the exact same principle for the hard G and the soft G. The exact same principle. G has two sounds. And that's one of the lessons you're going to teach. The G followed by A, O, or U, same thing, has the hard G sound. So GOAT is goat. That's the hard G, goat. If it's followed by an A, like in gap, GAP, gap. Somebody said something? Or guy. That's a nice guy. You have the hard G. As long as it's followed, and of course there's generalizations, but this is the rule. Whenever G is followed by A, O, or U, it has the hard G sound. Whenever it's followed by E, I, or Y, it sounds like J. It sounds like J. For example, Genesis, Gen. It sounds like a J because it's followed by E. Gem, like a stone, a precious stone. J, because it's followed by an E. Same thing with I. Ginger, GI. So now it sounds like a J. Ginger, right? And the same thing with Y. So it's the exact same rule. The exact same rule for the G sound and the C sound. And that's a lesson that you're going to see in the Orton Gillingham thing. That's a whole lesson where whenever the G is followed by A, O, or U, it's hard. Whenever the C is followed by A, O, or U, it's hard. So that is why your student is getting confused. Because indeed and in truth, I bet you, and you may not realize it, but I bet you that she is confused because sometimes she's hearing it as, and sometimes she's hearing it as, but did anybody explain to her? So how does she know? You're telling me you said, tell her, no, but she's seen words that begin with the C and it sounds like an S. That to you is simple, but to her, it's very confusing. You did not, in other words, did you explain to her about the two different sounds of C? Because if you don't, she's confused. She doesn't even understand her confusion, but she's confused. Did that help?
So, okay, I get it. So it means time has to be taken to explain the difference to the child.
Oh, yes, yes,
I
yes.
get it. Okay.
You cannot,
All right.
because
I
you
get
could
it
say all you want to them. The child in the classroom who's not dyslexic, you just tell them and they just take what you say. But the dyslexic child is going to begin to get confused because there's something else in ELA that's going to bring that confusion to them.
Okay.
But then they're not
Okay.
aware of it. They don't know
Thank you.
exactly what it is. They just know that they're confused. They just don't know why.
Thank you,
Okay.
Dr. B.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Lady Rosa, can we have a 5-minute break? My phone is dying. I need to go find my charger. Or do you guys want to talk for the 5 minutes? I'm just going to get my charger. I'm going to take that as a yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to get my charger.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm back. Is everybody still here?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on from that. And again, you can stop me because today's your final session. Today, I don't like to say today's your final session because I am really open to helping anybody who needs to help, especially to guide you through preparing your lesson plans. Okay.
Yeah, I am thinking maybe because we would need just one more to celebrate their graduation.
Okay.
So we will find the dates. By the time, I'm sure everybody would have submitted their names and you would have gotten your certificates. And you could invite, we will share a link where you could invite whoever sponsored you, let's say your school sponsored you and you want your boss to be here, you can share with them to come so that they see all the hard work you have done as well. And then we can bring the chapter to a close. However, as you said, Dr. B is very flexible and saying that you could always come back to her with questions. If it's me, I'll take advantage. Because then you don't feel like you're alone, you understand. So like questions like what Irene said, you could always bounce it back to her and she could quickly do a voice note to explain it to you. So see from today that we are family. Dr. B, you can go on.
Okay. Now, yesterday, we went to lesson plan 1, lesson plan 2. Now we move to lesson plan 3, which is the third one that I had sent to you. And you notice that the phonograms review is growing. Everybody notice that it's growing. So now we have 2 vowels, which is A and I, and we have T, M, B, H, F, P, J, because those, the ones that we added on were the ones that we introduced as the new element coming over from lesson 2. So now it becomes a part of the phonograms review. Now, let's look at lesson 4. We don't have lesson 4. Let's talk about lesson 4. Having done lessons 1, 2, and 3, okay? You are now armed and dangerous with the Dolch list. You know, look at lessons 1, 2, and 3, and you'll see where we got to on the Dolch list. You look at the therapeutic awareness sheet, and you say, okay, so we have to find one. You have the cards, or you will. Here we have the list of the words. The actual words are here. This is just like an index of all the concepts. These are the words. Okay, these are all the words that are listed on this, that are represented on this card. So as you move to the next lesson, you will say, okay, we did, as a matter of fact, can we do that? Can you get out your the first page of this? Okay, so now we are writing up lesson 4. We're going to grab a piece of paper here, and we are going to do together lesson 4. That way we all know how to do lesson 5. As a matter of fact, I think I sent you, when I sent this over lessons 1, 2, and 3, I gave you an idea of how to go forward with the other lessons. So for lesson 4, where are we going to begin? What are we going to do first? What are we doing for lesson 4? What is the first thing on the lesson? You can go back to lesson 3. You can go back to lesson 3, and you're going to see the first thing, and everybody's writing. Everybody's writing. We're all writing because we're doing lesson 4 together. Phonograms review. And I moved around the sight words, I think, between the first and the third lesson, but then you can make it consistent. So far we have vowel A, vowel I. So we're putting those back. Once you make up this format, once you create this lesson plan, it's a template that you have. I think, did I send you the template? I might have. Yeah, I might have. I took out the information, not the phonograms, but a lot of the things, I took out the information. So for every lesson, all you have to do is put in your information for that lesson. So you can all unmute yourselves because you have to give me feedback. We're doing lesson 4 together. So the phonograms review. Where are we going to get the elements for our phonograms review? How are we going to decide what we are taking over to lesson 4? We know we're taking over A, apple. We know we're taking these over. Now, when we get to lesson 4, what are we hello? Okay, that person will have to mute. Okay. What are we putting on lesson 4? This is lesson 3. What are we putting on lesson 4? I need to know that you know how to go on to lesson 4. Anybody? Okay, if you're not sure, let me just prompt you. You're leaving everything that's here on the phonograms review. Everything that's here on this lesson plan 3, you're leaving everything here, but you're going to add a few things. What are you going to add? You're going to go back to lesson 2 and find out what the new elements were, the new phonetic elements. And I'm not going to tell you that. Let's see. Okay, lesson 3. Okay. For lesson 3, we're up to J. We did up to J. When we went over, that's it, it's lesson 3, I'm sorry. When we went over to the second page of lesson 3, we saw that we were now adding in 2 more letters, G and O. G and O. So now we are going to add into the phonograms review. This is lesson 3, but as we are going to do lesson 4, we're going to do all this, and then we're going to add G, and then we're going to add O. So you're going to, on the phonograms review, you're going to put all of the above so that you don't have to write them over right now, right? All of the above, and then we're going to add vowel O and consonant G. Everybody got that? If you go to that first page that I just showed you, you will see the column that says add G. That's the second column. It says add G. And the third column says add O, which means you can now use all of these words. You can use all of these words, and you can use all of these words in your lesson. Any questions on that? I'm assuming that everybody has lesson 3 in front of them. Yes, Fiona? Yes.
Okay, so please, Dr. Bernard, you're saying that for lesson 4, you take everything that was on lesson 3's phonogram review, and then you add O and G.
Then you add what? O and
O
G,
and
yes.
G.
Yes, you add the vowel O, separate them, and keep the vowels in red so that you don't, you're making a distinction. So you're going to add the vowel O to the red ones, which are the vowels, and then you're going to add G to the consonants. Correct. Does everybody agree with that?
Thank you.
Okay. So now for that lesson, you're going to you've already introduced O and G, but now you're going to say it as part of the phonograms review. So you're going to take out your cards. You're going to take out the cards that you did before. The consonants and the vowels, they're all here. This is what we have so far. We have all these consonants. We have all these consonants, and we have these 2 vowels, right? Now we're going to add O, and we're going to add G. So now I have to pull these cards out. I have to find my G and my O. Then I am going to do the whole thing, do the whole drill. Remember, it's a drill. Every lesson is a drill. A, apple, A. Just as you have it, you do the drill every time. Now, when you say A, apple, A, then I, igloo, A, then now you're including O, octopus, A. And then when you get down to the consonants, you do all of the consonants, and the last one will be G, goat, G. Is that clear? Do we need to explain anything there? You have to know it today. If you don't know it, you've got to tell me, because we are doing lesson 4 together. That means you should need no help with lesson 5. Okay, so no questions. What's the next thing that we're going to do on the lesson plan? You're keeping lesson plan 3 in front of you to know what you have to do. Okay, let's suppose, I'm not putting this on the plan, but let's suppose for lesson 3, because you wrote all over it and you wrote it in your reflection log. Let's say your student had a problem, like with Irene said, the student has problem with the letter C. She's going to do a mini lesson. She's going to do a mini lesson when she gets to the linguistic concept again. she's not going to move on. I'm saying to Irene, if that child has that problem with the C, you're not going to just move on to more and that child hasn't mastered it. You may put in one more, but you must keep explaining that until the child has mastered the C, and you have to explain why. Okay, even though you didn't plan to do that lesson about the hard and the soft G, you have to put it in there because it's a problem. If you can't do that lesson, then you should not be introducing C. Okay, and based on these lessons, at this point, you should not have included C as yet.
Dr. B.
Yes.
Just a moment. I can hear a lot of background sounds coming. So please, everyone.
Okay, so they have, okay, that's fine.
When you have to talk, then you can come on, please.
Okay, okay. All right, so what's the next thing we have to do on lesson plan 4? We already included the new elements, which are G and O. Now we're going to go to what?
Rapid drill.
We're going to go to the sight words. If you're looking at lesson 3, you see the next thing is the sight words. Let's go back to lesson 2. What did we have for the sight words there? If you look back at lesson 2, you'll see it was and away, big blue can, come, down, fine, for, find. It ended at 5, at find. So now lesson 4 had from 4 to little. You're looking at your sheet, at your Dolch list. You're looking at your Dolch list. So lesson 3 ended at little. Lesson 3 ended at little for the sight words. What would be the next set of words that you're going to use for lesson 4? Anybody? Where are you going to start? We ended at little. Where are we going to start? Do we have the sight word, the Dolch list? Does everybody have the Dolch list?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So whoever just answered me, what comes after little?
Look.
Look. So now we're making up about maybe 6 sight words. So it would be look, then what? Anybody, you can put it in the chat. You can put it in the chat. After look is what?
Make.
Make, okay. Then what?
Me.
Me, mm-hmm. Keep going.
My.
My, uh-huh.
Not.
Not.
One.
Okay. You want to stop there?
Yes, I think it's okay.
Okay. So we put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is going to be different for everybody. If it's a very small child, you may just put in 2 words. Okay, but if it's a child that you say, okay, I think they pretty much know some of these already. You can put in 6, you can put in 8. It's up to you. Okay, so now for lesson 4, we went from look to 1. Okay, what's the next thing on the lesson plan? Rapid drills. Okay, so now you can write that in, rapid drills. Of course, you know what you have to do with the cards. You just manipulate the cards. You put the vowels in the middle and you manipulate the cards to do the consonant, vowel, consonant words. Then you use, you do spelling. Where are you going to get your spelling from? Where are you going to get your spelling from? You just added in from lesson 3. You just added in, let's see, I, F, P, H, J. No. You just added in G and O. That's it. Just add in G. So you want to go to the G column and you want to go to the O column. And that's where you're going to get your new spelling words and the words you're going to use for your dictation. So now you have that first column that you can use. That's called group 1. You can use anything from that group. And now you can use anything from the group G and anything from the group O. Now it's cumulative. So the letters are going to be all the letters that you've learned so far. Any questions on that? Everybody knows how to find that. How to find this new spelling words. No questions. Here's what you're not going to do. You're absolutely not going to do this. You're not going to give the children spelling words to learn. You're not. That is self-defeating. The goal is for them to learn to read words that they never saw. That's the goal. That's the goal. The sight words, okay, you teach them the sight words and you do the drills with them, but you do not give them 20 spelling words to study. You don't. Because if you do, you're not teaching them the sounds of the letters. You are actually treating the spelling words like sight words. And you don't want to do that. So you never give spelling words ahead of time. You never say, these are the words, and you're going to have a spelling test. I look at spelling tests the teachers do, and I'm like, they're crazy. You give the kids the words, and they just memorize it. And if they miss a letter, they don't know. They don't know. If they're doing it phonetically, they will know, okay, picnic, p-i-k-n-ik. So for the child who's just spelling based on what they saw, they can leave out a letter and they don't know. But if you're going to spell it phonetically, and once they're saying it, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. I'm saying something, but the letter is not there. You know, so that's what you do for spelling. So you use the words. What are the words we're going to put down for the spelling now? Anybody, not just Irene. What are the words that we're going to choose from? We're going to choose 10 spelling words. Where are we going to get those words from? Anybody? Okay, don't want to have a long pause. You're going to get those spelling words from column G and column O. So your spelling words would be pig, jag, fig. We're going to take 5 from the G column and 5 from the O column. It's up to you, but that's just, something you can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm up to gap. Are we writing this? Is everybody writing this down? Okay, so we took 5 words from the G column. Now we're going to take 5 words, any 5 words from the O column. We can put mop, got, jog,
Dog, leg,
leg. Where is leg?
Okay, you're going with the list. I'm coming up with.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8. Do we have dog in here?
Dog is D-O-G. Yeah, dog is.
Do we have dog in here? I don't think
No,
so. You know why I know we don't
not.
have dog in here? Because we have bee. And we're not teaching B and D so close together. So that's why I know that there's no dog. Okay, so give me some more. We got to jog.
Mop.
I need 2 more.
Mop.
Mop. We have mop already.
Log.
Log. Okay.
Jog.
Jog. Do we have jog? Yeah, we have jog already.
Peg.
What's that?
Peg. A peg.
With an E?
Yes.
No.
Which column are you looking at?
I'm not looking at your column.
Okay,
trying to
so
get
you have to look. Go ahead. You have to look at the column because right now we're looking at column G and column O. That's where we're getting our words.
Okay. G-O, fog.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
F-O-G, the fog. Foggy.
Right, I know. I'm just looking to see if it's here. F is one of our words, yes. O is one of our words. And okay, it's not here, but it's good. Okay, so now we have our 10 spelling words. Now, if you don't have these, in fact, you have them. You have them. I sent them twice already.
Yeah, we have it.
Maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
For your own, no, you don't have to print every single thing, but something like this, the word list and the Dolch list, you need to print those. You need to have them in front of you when you're doing your lesson plans. Okay, so now we're going to do dictation. Dictation. Now we have all these sight words, right? We have from A all the way down to 1. So you look at your Dolch list and you say, oh, when I'm doing the spelling, I can use any one of these words here to make up the sentences. A, and, away, big, blue, can, come, down, fine, for, funny, go, help, here, I, in, is, it, jump, little, look, make, me, my, not, one. That's where we stopped, right? 1. So we stopped at 1. You can use any of those words plus any words from these 3 columns, the group 1, the add G, and the add O. So now you have a lot of words to play with. You have a lot of words that you can make up sentences. So I'm going to ask, let's see, for 5 sentences, I'm going to ask 5 persons to give us 5 sentences. And first person. Just look at the words and make up a sentence. Do we have there in this? Yes, we have there. So we can say something like the pig. Do we have can as one of our sight words? Yes. The pig can jump. Yes, that's a sight word. The pig can jump. And is one of our sight words. So the pig can jump and is play one of our words? No. No. Play is not one of our words. So we're going to have a little problem here. If I were doing this, I would throw in play because the very next word is play. So I would just add play to my sight words so that I can use it down here. So I'd say the pig can jump and play. Number 2. Anybody else? We're using these words to make sentences. Anybody can, while we're talking, you can think of a sentence. You don't have to wait for a pause.
Okay, Dr. B, can we have Tom is hot?
Tom is what?
Hot.
Hot, yes. Tom is hot. Very good. Number 3.
We have I can jog.
I can jog. Okay. I can jog. No more sentences with I. Always tell the students that because they will give you 5. And the teacher should definitely not be doing it. Whenever you have children writing sentences, the minute they give you one sentence with I, you tell them that's the last one with I. Because they'll give you all the sentences with I. Okay, next sentence, number 4. That's for the dictation.
Okay, so please, can we have the big blue pig?
Okay, you broke up just now.
The big blue pig.
We used pig already. There are a lot of words here to use.
Okay, so we have
the big blue something.
Okay, so the big blue jug.
The big blue what?
Jug.
Jag. What is a jag? You're breaking up badly. The big blue
jug. We have for girl. We have jug.
Okay, I'm going to help you here because you're breaking up. I'm not hearing the word at all. The big blue mat is what? Sure. We're going to put the big blue. No, the cat can't be blue. The big blue map. The big blue map is for Pat. Or we could make it small and just say, Pat has a big blue mat. But it's not so easy to make up words, but the more as you go along, you're going to have more words to play with. You're going to have more sight words. You're going to have more OG words, and then you wouldn't have a problem making sentences. The last one.
Can we do tag the map or tag the mats?
Spell that for me.
We have tag, T-A-G.
Okay.
So tag the mats.
Okay, tag the mats. And because you said mats, you're going to have to throw in a mini lesson here and tell the child that mat is one and more than one is mats. You can't just say mats and say, well, that's one of the words. It's not. It has an S on it. So whenever these things pop up, you have to explain to the child why it's different.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see how long. I'm going to go 6 just for extras. Let's see how long we can get a word. Jim can come down here to what? To bat. Jim can come down here to bat. That's a long sentence. The thing is, we are sitting here today, but when you're on your own, you can just look at these words. Just look at the words and just start making up sentences. Practice it. Practice making sentences with the words. You cannot give them dictation, which include words that you never taught them. If there's a word that you never taught them, then you have to tell them what the word is and underline it to show that you gave them that word. Okay, what's the next thing that we have to do? We've just done our dictation. What's next? Handwriting. Handwriting.
Dr. Bernard.
Yes.
Please, I have a question. And when I was having my lesson through with my students, it was like he had a little bit of a challenge with the sight words. Though I was mentioning it to him and then pointing it to him, showing it to him, and then letting him repeat. So I want to know how our students are supposed to learn the sight words and then see them and be able to recognize them, pronounce them well. because away, like maybe AWAY, he was saying ow, ow. And he's like, he
Okay.
doesn't really see Y well. He doesn't see
Okay.
to an A, those things. So I want to know how we can teach them, how they can learn them.
That's a
You.
good question. That's a very good question. It sounds like he's trying to sound them out. They must never try to sound out the sight words. They are taking a picture. They're taking the camera, that's their eyes, and taking a picture of these words. You can't give them a lot of words if they don't know these sight words. It may be just 2 at a time. You show the child can, C-A-N, and you show them, they just have to look at it. And you tell them C-A-N is can. Do not sound it out. Yeah, you could sound out can, but if it's a sight word on your list, don't make it a habit to sound out sight words, because when you get to T-H-E for there, they may say to her. Okay? And you don't want that. So you're going to teach them, as I said, make little cards, just little cards like this, and put those words on them, the sight words. It could be just 3, and tell them that's their homework. And away. Don't try to sound it out. Just look at it. Just look at it. This is and away. Put them in order. 1, 2, 3. And you put a little rubber band around it. You have to learn these. This is your homework. He sees that the first one is second one is and the third one is away. And he has all week to learn those 3. Okay?
Okay.
That is something that they have to memorize. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you. Yeah, they have to memorize those, but you have to do it over and over. I put the sight words, it's on the homework list every night. Every night it's on the homework list. It's just a part of their homework. It's one of the things they do. Just like they have to learn their tables. It's one of the things they do. They have to learn their sight words.
Okay. Thank you.
Don't let them get away with it. Don't let them get away with it. When they get to 6, they should be saying them fluently. Then you add 2 more. Then you add 3 more. And, on and on. But you monitor them and make sure that they know them. That whether they see the word and in their book, or on the board, or on a piece of paper somewhere, it doesn't matter where they see A-N-D, they must be able to recognize that is and. And for the first word on the Dolch list, is it A or A?
Okay.
Do you say a boy or do you say a boy?
In Ghana, we say a boy.
You say a boy.
We say a boy.
Everybody agrees with that?
This is a boy. That's what we say. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's
I'm not going to try to change it. But A and A are 2 different things. One is a letter and one is a word. One is a letter and one is a word. The letter A, that's the letter. The word A is A. A book, a pen, well, a house, whatever. That's the word A. A is the letter. A is the word. Okay. You can take it for what it's worth. You don't have to change up how you do it. I just put that piece of information out there. And it will make a difference too, I guess, to the student, because when it's time for them to read, it does make a difference. When they know the difference between a word and a letter. It's only one sound, but one is a word and one is a letter. Okay, so for handwriting, since we introduced, what letters did we introduce? The new letters. Oh, O and G. O and G. So for handwriting, the homework is going to be write O write letter O and letter G 3 times, then 1. 3 times, then 1. You had that sheet from me. I sent it over to everybody. 3 times, then 1. 3 times, then 1, which means they're going to write the letter O. They're going to trace it. You're going to write it. You're going to write it. They're going to trace the letter O 3 times on the paper. 1, and you're going to tell them that that is a 2 o'clock letter. I think we explained the 2 o'clock letters already, A and O. And at some point in time, you're going to put them all together, the 2 o'clock letters. O is a 2 o'clock letters because of where it begins. Okay, it goes just below the line and it curves up to the line, to the 12. Okay, so they're gonna write O 3 times. O, O, O. Then they're gonna go to the next column and then they're gonna write freehand O. Then they go back to the first column and that same O that they just traced 3 times, they're gonna do it again. O, O, O. Then they go to the second column and freehand, they'll write O. Back again to the first column, O, O, O. They're tracing it. Then they go to the third column, freehand, they write O. Same thing with L. And then you explain, of course, and it's even in the manual, explain to them what they're writing. The G is 2 o'clock letter also. The G is also a 2 o'clock letter. It begins just like a C. It begins just like an O. It begins just like an A. It's a 2 o'clock letter. And then you trace it and show them how we write the trip. But not only is that a 2 o'clock letter, it's also a basement letter. And so you're going to show them that this is a basement letter because it's going below the line. G is a basement letter. We know all the basement letters, the ones that go below the line, Y and all of those. So those are only just 2 letters that you have to teach them. And then, of course, you must include that in their homework packet for that night. Any questions so far? We're down to handwriting. Any questions? No. Okay.
Doctor.
Yes.
Please, I want to find out, in doing all this, do you need to invite the child alone and then teach the child, or in the mainstream where we have a lot of children in the classroom, do you teach all of them together?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a good question. If you have a student that you're tutoring one-on-one, you explain all of this to them. It is not necessary to teach this to a whole class, but guess what? It can't hurt. It can't hurt. When you're teaching them how to write the letters, it doesn't hurt to say for everybody to say it. As a matter of fact, there may be children there who need that extra help, but you don't even know it. But because you taught everybody how to do it the right way, everybody got it. So it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt at all.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. There are a lot of things that you do, that you're doing for the dyslexic child, that you can actually use in the general classroom. You can do the spelling. You can do the spelling that you're going to do with the dyslexic learner, because you're going to have to look at the paper one by one. You can't look at, if you have 26 children in your classroom, you can't look to see, okay, they have to stop now because they're not, or they're not getting them right or whatever, and you have to go over it. Well, that's difficult. Now, if you can find a way to teach the children those spelling steps, I don't even know how you do it, because they're going to have to say it out. They can't do it. They can't do it. Because remember, they have to say it out loud. And then they have to spell it out loud. You'll have 26 children spelling out loud.
Wow.
You can't do that. So for the spelling, no. For the spelling, it has to be, the SOS spelling has, just by the very nature of how it's done, this has to be one-on-one. That and the dictation. Does that answer your question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Keep looking out for things that you can share with the whole class. But remember, there's some things that must be one-on-one with the dyslexic learner. Now we have, we're going to get some new sight words. Look, make, let's see what we had here. Spelling. This was 3. Okay, so no, we actually put in the new spelling words already. Look, make, me. Okay. Okay, we had put them in here. Now we reviewed them up here. Okay, so at the top here where we had sight words, look, make, me, my, not, those were all a part of the review. Now after the handwriting, we have new phonetic elements. New phonetic. So what are we going to use now? We got to G and O. What is the next letter or the next letters that we're going to introduce? It's going to depend on how well the child knows what you've already taught them. If you need to double back, then you don't need to put in new element. You can just put back the same element that you put the last time. You're going to say, well, listen, I don't think they got the G and the O. I don't think they have it down pat. I'm going to put it back. So you put it back again for the new phonetic element, O or G. Now, if they got it, you move on. Where would you move on to? You go back to your word list, to the Orton Gillingham word cards. And what are the next 2 letters that we are going to put in? Anybody?
Dr. B, we have R and
Yes.
L.
Yes. R and L. Okay. If you feel like putting in an N, that's going to depend on you. If you put in an N, then it means you have all these columns. Always remember, the column that you're up to, when it's time for you to work with those words, you have that column and everything that went before. So it's cumulative. It's cumulative. So now she said R and L. Very good. So those are going to be our 2 new elements. You're going to put, and it's going to be R with the mat, R, rat, R. L, lamp, L. Those are the 2 that are going to be your new phonetic element. Remember, for the next lesson, those are the 2 letters that you're going to take over for your new phonograms review in lesson 5. These are the letters you're going to add for the lesson plan 5 for your phonograms. Is that clear? Did we lose anybody? No. Okay, so now we have the phonetic element. We know how to do that. The next thing would be new sight words. Last time we got up to play. What would we now introduce for our new sight words? You go back to your Deutsch list. We got up to play. What is the next one now? Anybody? What would be the new sight words?
And run.
Say that again. Oh, red.
Red, run.
What was the second word?
Red, and then run.
No, you just said ran. Did you just say ran?
Yes, run. R-U-N.
Oh, that's a U sound.
So it's what? Run.
Right, right. But you see how easily you said that sound? Okay? Because you said it, and that's why I kept asking you over and over. And you do that to the students. You keep asking the students, can you say that again? What is the vowel sound that you hear? And they will say, well, it's an A. And what is the sound for the A? And you say, well, what sound is this one? So, oh, that's a U. And what is the sound for the U? And that's how I didn't tell you. You said to me, oh no, run. That's exactly what you do.
Dr. Bernard, we've really learned a lot of wrong things because this is what we've known for our whole lives. So if I start talking the way I'm supposed to talk, like us in the correct way, people will be looking at you like, hey, why are you from America or something? Because here we say run, whether it's
Okay, but
R-A-N.
okay. But hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. When you spell the word man, M-A-N, what is the sound for the A?
Ah.
Okay. Okay. Is that okay, so let's go for a word now that has U in it. Okay? Fun. F-U-N. When you see F-U-N, do you say fan?
Yeah, so
No, you don't. Do you say fan?
I think the people at the Nigerians do
Doctor,
say fun or what? What is a fun? I don't know. But
Oh,
Ghana,
okay. I'm asking. When you see
But that one is
F-A-N, do you say fun? No, when you see
no.
F-U-N, do you say fan?
yes, please. I say
Yes.
fun. I have so much fun. Yeah, I had fun today. I say fun. We all say
Okay,
fun in Ghana.
okay, I got you. So when you're talking about a fan, like you're hot and you use a fan, how would
Yes,
you
we
say
say
that
fun.
one? What would you say?
We still say fun.
But you can't say fan for the two of them.
Then the Nigerians
That's
will
what we
get
say.
us now. They be
No,
saying we
hold on
don't
one
pronounce
second.
the
No,
words
this is not me. This is not me.
But theirs is not any better, oh, Fiona.
well. Okay, so
Fiona,
how do you say the
you
fun?
are going to so
F-U-N.
confuse the dyslexic child. Do you see how the dyslexic child can be totally confused here? Because if
Yes,
you're going to say F-U-N is fan and F-A-N is fan, can you explain that to the dyslexic child?
No, I can't.
So they're now more
We have to do
confused.
more research.
They're more
Hey,
confused than ever. So
yes.
what you want to do is look at the sounds, because this is how the children are going to be learning. Look at the sound and then look at it in other words and say, wait a minute, this is what I say. You can't say it this way in this word and then say it a different way when it's convenient in another word. So you have to be consistent. So you may want to tweak that a little bit and say, okay, A is apple, which is A. So fan is going to be fan, and fun is going to be U as in umbrella, umbrella. So it's going to be fun. Are we on the same page or no?
Thank you very much.
I don't want us to lose each other here. But you see, when we do things like this, and it's not just you. I'm from the Caribbean, and we have our dialect, and my mother, she insisted you had to say it the right way. But if we're mixing up words, like if we're mixing up vowel sounds like this, we're totally confusing these children, totally confusing them. How do you explain that? How would you, Jedediah, how would you explain this to a student about the fun and the fun? How would you explain that to a student?
I don't know how I explain it, but now I know better. So before I'll use any words, I will listen to the correct pronunciation online after sounding it out myself.
There you go.
So I'm also learning.
Right. Because the truth is, for you, it's okay. But what about the child who is trying to figure out these sounds? What do you do with that child? You say, okay, this is fun. The child is like, what? Which one is fun? And which one is fun? They don't know. Okay, so we're up to play, read, run, said, see, the, 3, 2, 2. I would put the 2 2s together.
Okay.
In other words, if I stopped at TO, the next time the child may be a little confused because I just said TO is 2 and now TWO. Put them together and right there you say, this one is TO and this one is the number TWO. Teach those together so that there's no confusion. So we're going to go from red to, why don't we go to up? Yeah, go to up. So we're going to go from red to up. Okay, we're coming on to the end. Linguistic concept. This is easy. For lesson 3, this is what we did. We wrote words, or we put words on the board, and we had them make a note of the consonants and the vowels. So a word like up, UP, right? You say, you put the brev over the U, and under it you put V, because that's a vowel. The P is a consonant, so you put C. So now they see this is a VC word. Start with the simplest words. Start with it, is, in, at, and show them it's vowel, then consonant. And that's where you get in the short vowel sound. At, it, on, ill. Well, not ill, because that's going to be the floss rule. But just use words with 2 letters, especially for the young child. Just 2 letters, and show them this is a vowel, this is a consonant. Always try to keep your vowels and your consonant as separate colors, because you want to teach them these are vowels, these are consonants. So they're going to get in the habit of seeing these words, and they're going to say, oh, right under the vowel, you put a V. Under the consonant, you put a C. That's how they're going to begin to see word patterns. So that when you begin to do syllabication with them, they go into, let's see, consonant, vowel, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. And they will be able immediately to pick up the syllabication patterns. Just because you put them in the habit of writing under the letter if it's a V or if it's a C, if it's a vowel or if it's a consonant. I'm talking, they're not doing that when they're in 10th grade. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying right now, as they're in the early stages of learning these words, you just get them in the habit of putting vowel, V under it, just a small V under it, consonant, put a small C under it. And because you have the pattern vowel, consonant, you teach them the vowel is going to be short because there's a consonant at the end of this syllable that closes the door and keeps the vowel short. So once you teach them that short vowel, you're also going to tell them, remember to put that little tiny U. It's called a breath, a breath. You just put that little symbol over the vowel, whether it's an A or E or I or O or U. You put that little symbol. So they're learning that pattern. You can spend 2 weeks on that. That's fine. All they're doing is words that are vowel consonant. That's the pattern. VC, 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 EM, ET, EJ, whatever. Okay, but they learn that pattern, so it becomes a part of them. Oh, this is the vowel, this is the consonant. Vowel, consonant. And they get accustomed to that. After that, no, you put another a consonant in front of that vowel. So now they're going to have a consonant, vowel, consonant. That's the second pattern that they're going to learn. The VC, then the VCV. I'm sorry, the CVC pattern. I think that's it. The linguistic concept, we have that. And then comprehension, that is, something that we can always talk about. And then, of course, you do your reflective log. Every time you have a lesson, you create a reflective log. That is it. That is my final thought today. I can go on and on, as you can see. I can ramble quite a bit. But
wow. What a journey.
Fiona.
We have a question.
So yes, thank you. So please, Dr. Bernard, I want to find out. So if you have a lesson with a child or your student, and then you don't there's no challenge, you don't see that maybe the child was struggling with this lesson or that lesson, that means don't put anything in a reflection log, or
you just put knows everything. You just put whatever. Okay. Let's say you gave them 5 words, all correct. That's it. In your reflection log, you put the negative and the positive, all phonograms correct, or miss the M sound. And so you know that you're gonna address that M sound.
Okay.
Yes, your reflection log is what's gonna help you to prepare your next lesson. If they did well, you move on. If they missed certain things, you may put in a few new things, but bring some of those old things that they didn't get right with the new lesson. Anybody else before I go? I don't want to leave an unanswered question. Okay.
Do we have any question before we wrap up from here? Any question?
Everything is clear. Is everybody ready to move on to lesson plan 5? Are we good with everything? Okay, looks like we're good.
Maybe a last question, Dr. B, I'm sorry. The comprehension, can I use like the words you came across at the Dutch list and the OG words? Can I use it to create my own comprehension passage, or that one to this a passage for each level?
Absolutely, but listen, don't reinvent the wheel. If you want comprehension sentences, you just send to me directly and I'll just send the sheets over to you. Don't give yourself so much trouble.
Okay.
I have the whole Wilson system. You don't need to make up, and you can just tell me what letters the child is working on, and I can send you sentences with those letters.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Save yourself some trouble.
Then we need it, sir. Please, we need it.
Yeah, I have a lot of them, a lot of worksheets. If you're talking about worksheets, I can give you worksheets. Anything you're working on and you say, oh, I'm working on the ER and the UR, you could go on the internet. They're worksheets, but a lot of these people are asking you to pay. A lot of them are asking you to pay. You don't have to. If you need worksheets for any of these concepts that you're working on the two sounds of the hard and the soft sound of G and or of C, or the sound of Z, because S has a Z sound between two vowels, like rose, nose, close, froze, just send to me and say, I'm working on this. Can you send me a worksheet? And I'll send you a worksheet.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. B. It's been an amazing week starting from May till now. Wow. And I can't believe we are here today. Like Ifoma would say, she feels like this should have been longer. And it's really short because, when it starts like that and it's getting in, I feel like we are now taking off. Mm-hmm. But then we have to bring it to a close. But for us here, we would say this is not like the end of a training sections. We will be organizing more. Dr. B is definitely going to come back.
Oh, wow. And now she tells me.
She's going to come back one day soon. But I just want to use this big opportunity to say a very big thank you to her. This morning, I was just thinking about her and I sent her a little note and said that I don't even know what to say to her. Like, I want to say thank you, but in a different way, to express how I truly feel to her, but I'm not finding the words. And I just want to say that God bless her. This is just the start of the journey for us. And if she probably doesn't know this, I kind of hinted it to her a bit, but when I met her, I was at the stage where I asked myself, like, who sent me on this journey to do this? Because I have a whole profession that now is struggling because I have taken on the course of championing dyslexia awareness, advocacy, and training in Africa. And it's taking a toll on me. Obviously, this is not paying me. It can't even pay me. My job that pays me is struggling. I really wanted to stop, to be honest. And it was the exact time I met her. And she said, some words to me, and she was like, just think about those who have invented incredible things, who have done amazing things in this world. They also felt the same, but you got to keep it going. And I felt like those words she said to me really kind of sparked my interest again. Because for me, I was ready. I was like, okay, it's okay, 3 years, I'm done. Let me go take my professional cap on and find a different way. But she made me refocus, and I am so appreciative. Having this training, oh my goodness, for her, somebody in New York, to just spend her hours on weekends with us is something we can't even pay for. The training fee is up to nothing to what if she's charging we could pay for. No, not even an hour. If we combine everybody's efforts, it won't be able to pay for. But she did this for nothing. She gave it all herself. And Dr. B, God richly bless you. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless
God
you.
bless
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're
I
welcome.
love you so much. I can't wait to be in New York and come and spend time with you at home. I'm looking forward to that. And so for us, I will come back to you guys with a date. I need to speak to Dr. B and see when it will be available. We need just an hour or two of her time to do like a kind of a ceremonial. I feel like this is quite something you have achieved, you know? So we need to celebrate. We need to, that day you need to dress, comb your hair. The guys.
like those pictures.
Like those pictures, yes. Hey, Informa, your picture hasn't come. Yeah, we need to kind of show up. For me, I don't know this, but this is an achievement of self-liberating that I feel like you have gone through by saying that, oh, now I understand this kid is everything. So I'll get in touch with her. We'll find that date. Please send in your detail, exactly the name you want it to be on your certificate, because once we issue it, we will not be able to change it for you any longer. And once you receive it, you can print it yourself and keep it. Fiona, you asked the question, how would you be called?
Yes, Lee.
After tonight, I want Dr. B to answer you because I laughed my stomach out when I saw that.
Fiona.
Yes, that's that.
Fiona, that's what you'll be called.
I was expecting that.
Trust me, it's a long, long journey.
Yeah. But I was wondering,
but
in
it's
case you want to,
rewarding.
What did you want to ask, Fiona?
like in case you want to include it in your CV, because you know we are building our resume and everything, like how you can phrase that and place it in there.
Your certificate will tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
It should tell you that, and it's exactly the hours, because the thing is, we can't lie about, if we lie about information on a certificate for you, it's not doing you any help. If I go and say that we've technically done this for 2 months, but it's not 2 months. Do you realize?
Hours. It's always measured in hours.
Yes, it's 20 hours. And
20
so
hours.
that is what is going to be on your certificate. But there's so many resources, you know, there's so many resources on the internet, everywhere. We have some, which I'm compiling it for you. So make yourself, if you want to be on this journey, then make yourself available to get all the information and learn it. Informa, for instance, for me, I see an advantage for you in Nigeria. Imagine you having this knowledge and you getting some very well committed teachers and letting them understand the direction of your school today. And you letting it be like a very ground where students with learning difficulty, not just dyslexia, but dyscalculia and everything, can get support. You will have so many students that you will have a waiting list.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you would. All the schools I have seen around who are not in Ghana or Nigeria, But in the US and UK, they usually have waiting lists because they want
Oh,
their
yeah.
kids on
Oh,
their
yeah.
children. And
Yeah.
people
People all the time. I get calls all the time, and I'm like, I can't.
exactly. And people also, you know, the saddest thing is when you don't have money, it is so sad. But when you have money to pay for a service and you're not getting the support you need, it's even the saddest part of it.
Mhm.
And so, Ifoma, maybe you should think about it.
Yeah.
And we are all here to support one way or other. If I get
Yeah.
you information, I'll just send
Yeah.
it to you. Dr. B is there. We have other resource people. I'll make
Mhm.
them available to you as well.
Yeah.
And for you teachers, if you want to be a reading specialist, start from now.
Mhm.
And you can you can work yourself out and really brand yourself. You can't, there's a lady called Ida. Some of you coming for the physical training, you will meet her. Sometimes I call her and she tells me, no, I can't take it. Just like Dr. B is saying, she's like, I'm full. I can't take students.
No, can't.
Imagine the business she's creating for herself.
Mhm.
So please go back and shine your corner. Go
Yeah.
back and make magic and send us some very good success story. That is
Right.
what we want to hear. God bless you all.
IFOMA, put your school on the cutting. Put your school on the cutting edge. Put your school on the cutting edge. Make a name for your school. You can do it.
Love that. She dropped the mic. You can do it. So guys, I'll get back to you all in the chat to know when we are wearing our smart clothes and stuff to come and then graduate. It will be a chat event. And also I'll post something. I'll invite you on the 1st of July. Join us on YouTube for a chat. I'm speaking with an ex-Tesla employee who is a global executive in sustainability. He's dyslexic.
Wow.
And he's a Black guy from the US. His father is a Nigerian, but he's American. He's going to share his story of growing up and also a program that he has developed to boost the self-confidence of our students, students who are struggling to learn in school. So I will invite you for that and come and listen in. It's quite encouraging to listen to him. So I wish you all the best. We will convey finally very soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.